Hello, can you hear me now? Hello, can you hear me now? Okay, guys, welcome to this live session by Perfect Web Solutions. I'm your host Imran Qasim, and in today's video live session, we are going to talk about three different personalities of web development, which are web designers, web developers, and full stack web developers. So we are going to discuss here what they must know and what they must do and what are their responsibilities in web development. Or if you are applying for any job, you should know where you are applying, how you are applying, what skills do you need to apply for that particular job, either for web designers or web developers or a full stack web developer. So I will start with web designer. First of all, we should talk about web designers. So what are they? I mean, first of all, what should they know to call themselves as web designers? So number one, they should know HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. So they should know what is HTML, what is CSS, and what is JavaScript, how to use it. And secondly, they must know how to convert any PSD into responsive HTML, CSS / JavaScript. So they must know how to convert any PSD into HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. I mean, to convert into a web page using these three technologies, HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. After that, they should know that how to make the website live and how to upload it via cPanel or via FTP. So they must know cPanel as well as they must know about FTP and different software to use FTP protocol as a client. They should know it. And after knowing these things, the last and the most crucial part of this as a web designer job is that they should also be able to upload the file and make any changes the client or themselves or they by themselves they want via cPanel or FTP. I mean, they should know that how to upload, how to download files from FTP as well as from cPanel, or how to edit them live cPanel editor. So if anyone knows HTML, CSS, and JavaScript and must know one of the popular CSS JavaScript frameworks like Bootstrap, Twitter Bootstrap, they should know about Foundation. They must know about any other CSS framework. Like right now, Bulma is also a very popular framework. It does not the JavaScript in it. Like Twitter Bootstrap does include many JavaScript features, but CSS, pure CSS framework, it doesn't include any of the JavaScript framework. Furthermore, any web designer who call themselves a web designer must also know basics of like using Photoshop or some of free what we call them softwares like and there is another one, GIMP software, and there is an online utility as well. Which is called or Canva, I think. So if any person who know these things and can upload files and can maintain them on online, they call themselves as web designers. They are the persons who design website. Now the second one is web developers. Who are the web developers? So let me tell you that right now there is not much difference between a web designer and web developers, but they are different. They are not a same personality. They are different. A web designer make a website interactive or make a good layout where user can view it, or I must say UI and UX, like user interface and user experience is designed by the web designer. And a web developer, same things a web developer should also know. I mean, a web developer should also know what is HTML, CSS, and JavaScript, and how to achieve a specific task by making some changes in HTML, CSS, or as well as in JavaScript. And same thing also goes for a web developer, that the web developers should also know that what is a cPanel, what is FTP, how to upload files, how to download files, how to maintain a cPanel, how to maintain a website via cPanel. Or also there is some additional, I must say, additional a web developer must have, like a web developer must know any server-side scripting language, like Python. Not all, but should work for a web development. I must say by myself, I know PHP. Any other developer, like any server-side scripting language, .NET, PHP, or Python, or Ruby on Rails, any of these, if a person knows about them, and also a web developer should know that how to integrate how to integrate that server-side scripting language into part. Please kindly, you can postpone your questions for later, and we will have a session where you can ask your question and then ask them one by one. So please bear with me, and after completing this session, I will answer your questions as well. So where I was talking about web developers. So a web developer should also know these things. Developers should know that what is a server-side scripting language, how to maintain a server, how to upload server files, how to download them, how to modify them. So if any person knows about HTML, CSS, JavaScript, a small difference. A web developer, I must show you this with an example here, that what is the difference between a web developer. So let me show you one example, quick example. So let me show you an example that what is a web designer's job. So let me show you here. So if you can see my screen, do let me know if you see a browser screen, and then do let me know. And Avas Mahmood, yes, tomorrow will be a session in Urdu. So if you don't mind, you can join over tomorrow's session. So then we will having a Urdu session as well. Okay, if you can see my screen here, I have shown you a small layout. This layout was designed by a web designer. I mean, the person who designed might be a web developer as well as a full stack web developer. But here I'm saying that suppose this is designed by a web designer. So it is looking good, it is looking attractive, but there are some what you call them miss things. Some things are missing in it. Like if you see this number 3 and you see the city name or you see the time and the images, etc., if you see them, they are static. I mean, they are not changing as someone open the website. The concept is, if you are using some kind of weather widget, that weather widget shows your current or any specific countries. When you select from a drop down menu, it should show you the weather of that particular country, city or state or whatever it is. But this is just a simple design which is designed by a web designer. Now it is the responsibility of a web developer to make the changes, like make the cities dynamic. That is called the dynamic website. When you make these things dynamic, like changing the city name, uh, like changing the city name shown above here, and then there this 3 degrees centigrade or whatever it is, and then on Monday click on it and you will see also it will update here and show next Monday what is whatever the situation of weather it is, and then Tuesday, Wednesday. So these dynamic things will be added by a web developer. So this is not the responsibility of a web designer to make these things, that he should make a drop down here where you change it and it will show that country's weather report or whatever it is. So my point is here that the difference between a web designer and a web developer is that a web designer build interactive websites using HTML, CSS, and JavaScript, whereas a web developer use those designs created by web designer and convert them into dynamic websites. I mean, dynamics application, or I must say, or dynamic website, so that these things will change as the client wants. That maybe client wants that whoever open my website, this weather report will be shown or reflect to its current city from or country from where it is open, so that you need to find geolocation, you need to use geolocation of the person who's opening this website, and then you show what is the current weather report of that person's country, city, or whatever it is. Or whether you can add a drop down here or a link here where the user can click and then they can change these settings on the fly. So that thing is done by a web developer. So I'm sure now you understand by this example that what is a difference between a web developer as well as a web designer. So the next point came, who is a full stack web developer then? I mean, if you know that this is a web designer and this is a web developer, then who is a full stack, whom we should call full stack web developer, right? So the answer to this question is a full stack web developer is a person who knows both things completely. I mean, a web developer shouldn't know each and everything. I mean, he shouldn't create anything web design from scratch, but a web developer must know how to integrate server-side scripting language into any HTML or any website, any static website. Whereas a full stack web developer should know all the technologies from zero to up. I mean, if someone asks him to create a static website, a full stack web developer should know that how to create it from scratch, as well as how to create a dynamic website from that static website as well. But here the point is, the difference is between web designer, web developer, and full stack web developer. A full stack web developer is not a designer, as not a developer, but a full stack web developer is a problem. I mean, not only a web designer or a web developer, a full stack web developer must be a problem solver. I mean, he should know that once a problem occurs, I'm not talking here about the code, the problem in the code bug. And I know that he should also know that. But the point is, a full stack web developer's responsibility is near to a software engineer. I mean, software engineer is another vast field, but here we are talking about full stack web developer. So full stack web developer knows all the things which a web designer knows from ground zero to ground up, and as well as he knows about the web development things, but he might be knowing some other programming language. But full stack web developers should know that how to solve a particular problem. I mean, how to use whether we should use a loop here or we should use an if then else statement here, how to tackle the business logic. Like we being a web developer solved our problems using like MVC framework or CMS system to create quick websites. But a full stack web developer should know that how to solve a problem, how to divide a problem into chunks, and then give the job proper to a web designer or to a web developer. I mean, if this is job which should be done by a web designer, full stack web developer is something like a manager, you can say that, who manages both a web designer as well as a web developer. So these are few things, a few twisted, very bottom line. The bottom line of this session is that there is a very slight difference, but this difference should be known not only by the software house, by the software companies, but an individual should also know that when they are applying for a particular job, they should clearly know that they are applying for a web designer job. So they should not include if they know any web development tools. Like if you are going to apply for a web designing job, then you should mention in your CV, in your portfolio, only the design perspective. You should not never ever mention that you know PHP, you know this and that, because it will not create a solution for you, but it will create problems for you. Because you are going to apply for a job for being a web designer, and when you go there and the software house knows that you also know these things, then these things might create issues for you. I mean, they might want you to shift from web designing to web development, and then from web development to web designing. So it will create confusions for you. So my point to mention these three things here, that you should know when you are applying for any particular job, then you must mention what skills related to that job title do you have. If a job is a full stack web developer, then you should know each and everything of as a web designer as well as a web developer. But if you are applying for a job which you only they are requiring a web designer, then you should know what are things a web designer should know. A web designer should know how to create websites from scratch using PSDs, using images, and converting them into responsive. Because nowadays, you are in 2018, responsive websites are the key points, key aspects of every web app as well as website. Okay, if you have any questions related to this topic, like a web designer, web developer, or full stack developers, you should ask me those questions here. I'm going to stop here because these are the things we should only know. What are the bottom lines, or what are the borderlines? Sorry, what are the borderlines between websites, web designers, web developers, as well as full stack web developers? So if you know them now clearly, then please do consider when you're applying for a job, you should know each and everything, what are the requirements, and you create your CV. Don't just throw each and every of your CV to every place, but you should create separate CVs as a web designer. If you are a full stack web developer, you can also do that. You can create 3 different CVs: web designer, web developer, and full stack developer, and you can apply with those CVs wherever you want to apply. So now I'm ready to take your questions. And the first question I'm taking from Dastagir Akhtar, who said that nowadays AngularJS running or not in job market. Dastagir Akhtar, after Angular 2, AngularJS is not that much popular. It isn't used by any of the development in 2018. So it is better you should learn Angular 5, which is current version of Angular series. AngularJS, I think its latest version is 1.6, and after that there is no update came for AngularJS. So it's not a technology which you should learn. You should go for Angular 5. Okay, here Kamlesh Kumar is saying, I try to install npm in for Laravel project, but npm not install. Okay, Kamlesh Kumar, To install npm, first of all, you should install Node in your computer and make sure that you can access globally. You can access Node globally. After that, you can use npm to install in packages in Laravel. So make sure you have installed a Node on. If you are on Windows, when you install, when you go to nodejs.org, you download the version of Node, and then you install it. After installing, you will see run command prompt with Node. When you click on that thing, it will open a command prompt with Node.js. Okay, if you have installed the Node.js, then make sure when you run node -v. Okay, let me show you my terminal and show you what exactly do I mean. Let me show you my terminal here. So if you can see my terminal, then please do let me know that you can see it. Open a command. Okay, I think you can see my terminal here. So if I type node -v, it will show you this. If I type npm -v, it will show me the npm version. Okay, you can see npm version as well as you can see Node version. So then you should first go to the folder where you have installed Laravel. And after that, you can run simply npm install. Dastagir Akhtar, Vue.js is a simple, small application, very small application. It have 3 interfaces. Number 1, it can be used with Laravel. Number 2, it can be used with CLI, I mean Vue CLI. Number 3, we can use integrate it as a JS, I mean as a JavaScript file inside any HTML, and then we can use it. So yes, it is good, but I don't recommend that only knowing Vue.js is good. You should know Node.js properly. Okay, I think Kamlesh Kumar, you do have some conflicts in your Node package manager. I mean, in your Node modules. So what I do recommend you that you just reinstall your npm by running npm. There is a command to run to update your npm, or which you can run from your command prompt, and then you can update it. Just try to run npm update -g. So it will update all of your global objects, I mean on global packages. Anyone else have a question? They can put in the chat box so I can reply to it. Balaji, just you need to run npm update -g, so it will update all of your global packages. After that, you can try again. because it is giving conflicts with some packages like it is mentioned here GIF GIF cycle at 3.04. It have a problem with this package, so just update your npm global packages, and after that I think it will work. Reality and facts, unfortunately, there is no command like that which will help you to update the tables using artisan without losing the data. What you can do, that you can create dummy data and you can then run it with the PHP artisan, and after that run that db seed, and it will populate that data back to the database. Reality and facts, when you upload your website live, I mean, when you make it live, then consider it not to use PHP artisan command, because it is just meant to be used with development environment. After you have developed everything, then you shouldn't use this PHP artisan command on the live server. Never and ever use this command. So you shouldn't add real data when you are developing something. After development completes, then you shouldn't use PHP artisan. That's the simple answer for your question. Dastagir Akhtar, it is the era of PHP 7, so you should go with the latest version. Forget about 5.6 or 5.6 variants. No, we should be working with PHP 7. And especially when you are talking about database, MySQL I and PDO is your friend in PHP 7. Hello, Gupta. I'm sorry, I couldn't pronounce. I think it's Lavkush or whatever it is. Lavkush Gupta. Hello from me as well. You are welcome, Reality and Facts. Yes, Balaji, I will be creating videos on Redis, as well as I will be creating some NoSQL databases like MongoDB, Google, what you call it, Firebase. I will create tutorials on that. I just need to get some free time. Mateen Ray, the question and answer session has been started already. You can ask your question related to web development. As long as the question is related to web development, definitely I will answer. I will try my best to answer it. It is not mandatory that it is related to topic, but it must be with the related to web development field, not anything irrelevant. First of all, Lavkash Gupta, first of all, you should find a package which will help you to integrate these PayPal and CC Avenue payment. For the PayPal, I'm sure you can find it easily. I'm not sure about CC Avenue or whether what it is, credit card avenue or whatever payment gateway it is. I don't know anything about this, but I'm sure for PayPal you can find a package for Angular, and then you just need to add it. If you know Node.js, without knowing Node.js, when you only learn Angular, then you got these kinds of problem, what to do, where to do. So I should recommend that if you start learning Angular 5 without learning Node.js, you should first learn Angular Node.js, that how modular approach or how modular programming works using Node.js, how you create packages, how you use packages, because you know that Node.js is an event-driven programming. Event-driven programming, everything works against an event, and it is also a modular approach. So we do have modules for everything. Balaji, I will prefer Angular over React. If you ask my point of view, maybe there are other people who say that React is better than Angular, but as I'm working in Angular, so I always prefer where I am working. .NET is good, but I'm working PHP, so I will say that PHP is better than .NET because I didn't work in .NET. Kamlesh Kumar, for Laravel is Vue.js and React. In Laravel 5.5, we do have a choice to use either Vue.js or React.js, but I will do recommend Vue.js. And as you can see, I have created some CRUD tutorials using Vue.js, as well as I have created them using Ajax. Mateen Ray, I have just explained it that front end development is called a web designing as well. So when you are designing static websites using static plus interactive websites using HTML, CSS, and JavaScript, then it means you are a web designer and you are working in a front end development environment. You can go, Director, you can go to MongoDB website and you can choose your according to your operating system. It will show you according to your current operating system automatically. So just go to MongoDB website and you can download and install it on your local machine. As far as I know, there is nothing like 32-bit or 64-bit, or maybe I didn't see it because I'm on Mac. So I'm sorry for that. You can check on MongoDB website whether they provide or not. Otherwise, there's no other link you can find for 32-bit operating system. ParkTube, yes, of course, you can learn anything, whatever you want, as far as you are flowing from web designing to upward. I mean, some people learn first web development, then they come to the web designing. So make sure if you are a web developer, you should know web designing as well. And if you are a full stack web developer, you should know both web designer and web designing as well as web development. Yeah, last video is part 4. Tomorrow, hopefully, we will have part 5 as well, where we will insert the data. And because inserting and editing is almost same with some little twists where you need to load the current data when you edit, so I will definitely create those tutorials of adding and editing as quickly as possible, so that our CRUD operation will be create, and after that delete also. Sorry. And after creating how to delete, then we will create live search in Laravel 5 using Vue.js as well, where you can search record as you type them. So that is called a live search. Kamlesh Kumar, there is another solution for that. Just right click on the command prompt and run it as administrator. After running it as an administrator, then try again. I think then your problem will be solved running a command prompt as an administrator. ParkTube, what exactly do you mean by CSS variables? If you are talking about SCSS and less, yes, you use variables over there in those technologies, and then you compile them into CSS files. Lavkash Gupta, I think I have already Maybe I think I didn't. Yeah, in Angular 5. Let me see if you can see my playlist of Angular 5. I think I have uploaded. I have used HTTP module to upload image as well. Maybe I didn't. I'm not sure. I have to check it. Yeah, I think I just used a JSON placeholder as a CRUD. I didn't use uploading. Didn't add a feature to upload an image. The director, yes, I have already uploaded the CRUD project for Angular 5. Not project, but I think if you follow my Angular 5 series, you can learn how to do CRUD operations using services in Angular 5. And it is best to use services in Angular 5 to do database integration, like fetching and sending data through Angular 5. You're welcome, ParkTube. Mateen Ray, if you are creating any live video calling or audio calling, you need to use two technologies. One is Web RTS, and the other one is WebSockets. And again, I must say that this is called a Node.js technology. You should use Node.js to do live streaming or like video calling or audio calling or anything related to real time. You need to WebRTS, and then you need to use WebSocket. You should learn this Node.js in 2018. It is very important for every web design developer that they should know Node.js, because Node.js is totally a JavaScript based. So I am sure if you are a good web developer, it won't take more time for you to learn it. Is there any other question? Yes, Matindra, it is possible to create using Laravel, but with Laravel, you have to use WebRTS as well as WebSockets or Socket.io to make it work. I mean, you will create a separate server using Node.js, and then you communicate with that server using your Laravel application, and then send and receive the events. You will run Laravel as a client application, and whereas Node.js will be the server who's responding against the events triggered by Laravel to Node.js server. Yes, ParkTube. Electron is a package which can be used to create a desktop app for different platform. Like you can create it for Mac operating system, you can create for Windows, as well as you can create for mobile applications using Electron. Aziz channel, the difference between WordPress hosting and web hosting is that in WordPress hosting, you will get cPanel, you will not get a file manager or cPanel. What you will do, everything you will do via WP admin. You can delete your application, or you can reset your application, WordPress, using your hosting, but you can't do many things in WordPress hosting. Like you cannot create more databases, you might not be able to install more WordPress. You can simply install one WordPress and then you can manage it as you want. Whereas in the web hosting, you have lots of other functionality, like you can upload simple PHP scripts as well. Whereas in WordPress hosting, it is not possible to upload these kinds of like PHP script or static websites. Mateen Ray, I have no experience with Python, so I cannot say whether we can, is it possible with Django framework or not, because I have no experience with Python. Here I have more experience with PHP and PHP frameworks. Database app in Electron. Basically, first of all, you should understand that what is an Electron software is all about. It is a front-end framework, right? It does not directly communicate with any database. It is the application inside, like you cannot use any server-side scripting in it. But of course, you can communicate, like you can create an API and then you can talk with that API via Electron app, and then you can send and receive data. And that is your answer for ParkCube. Aziz channel, both are okay if as far as you have purchased to install a WordPress. I think WordPress hosting is much cheaper than normal web hosting. I mean, if you compare the packages, web hosting with the simple web hosting is a bit expensive as compared to WordPress hosting. WordPress hosting a bit cheaper than that. So if you are creating an affiliate website using WordPress, then I think you should go for WordPress hosting. And if in near future you are thinking to do it in any other framework, then I must say that you should have a package where you can use web hosting rather than WordPress hosting. I think this one concludes your answer. It's also thank you very much to you all for joining me in this session and making it successful. I'm very grateful to all of my followers and all of those people who have joined this live session and also commenting and liking my videos as well. I always try my best to reply you in the questions, I mean, in the comment section. Also, I'm going to create now forms where you can put your questions. So whenever next live session came, I will answer those questions. Right now, I have shared a link in my Facebook profile as well as in my Twitter account that if you have any question, you can fill up that form. And in next and tomorrow's session, which is in Urdu language, I will try my best to answer those questions. Also, you can ask for English session as well. You can use that form, but I think I forgot to add a field where you should select whether you have this question for an Urdu session or for English session. Yes, Matini, I always try my best that whatever I know, I should present it to others as well, that they should also know it. Also, I have said something in my Facebook account as well, that if you cannot help yourself by learning yourself, then start teaching others. You can learn more by teaching others. You can get more questions and then you can explore those questions and get the possibilities how the things are working. If I'm giving you some information, in return I'm getting some information from you in the form of questions as well. So that is very good for me that these kinds of questions do exist. Just take an example of Kamlesh Kumar and Balaji, that they have a problem with Node.js. I never come across this problem before. So, but definitely I will search for this issue, that why this issue is happening and what is a solution for this. I think if you search on Google, you can find a good answer to this problem as well, where you are conflicting. Or other solution is just remove the installation and do a fresh installation by clicking on the setup file, by right clicking and then running that application as an administrator and then installing it in your computer. It may solve the issue. because sometimes permission issues does create these kinds of weird problems with your installation, although it looks like a simple next button. Thank you for liking the WordPress lectures, Aziz. But what do you mean by affiliate lectures? I have no experience with affiliate marketing or any sorts of marketing. I have no experience with that. I'm a purely web developer, I must say that. So I can't answer you on that. Yes, SK Inzamamul Haq has asked a question. What are the security concerns we have to keep in mind when we develop a web app? So, first of all, the security concern is that if it, what kind of web app it is. Of course, a web app does do database integration as well. So you should know that what are the things which can cause your web application to break down, which is called injections, different injections, SQL injections. Like you should know that if someone can hack your website or no. For this reason, I do recommend always that whether you are developing a small application or a bigger application, you should use a secure MVC framework. Like you should learn after learning PHP, don't start creating projects in PHP because you are playing and you don't know what are the security concerns, how to prevent it. But these frameworks like Laravel, CodeIgniter, G, they do know the security concerns and they have implemented it on their in their MVC framework. So you should use those technologies when you are creating a real-time web app, even if it is a single-page web app. I do recommend just for the security concerns, you should use them rather than creating your own security. For knowing your own securities, you should know what is PHP injection, what is URL injection, what is JavaScript injection, and what is SQL injection. You should know these things. People can inject files in your cPanel using your loopholes, especially when you are uploading. You have a script which is used to upload files. They can exploit it and they can upload harmful files which can create problem for your website. So I do recommend using these MVC frameworks. And if still you need a quicker application, then go for CMS like WordPress, Joomla, Drupal. Or if you are building an e-commerce web solutions, then you should go for like Magento, PrestaShop, or something like these. There are many frameworks, CMS frameworks available in the market, which are quick tools. You just need to install them and then install few themes and plugins, and you are good to go. Thank you, Mateen Ray. It is just all because of you as well. It is your support which is making me letting me think to create some live sessions for you. So I'm creating weekly 2 live sessions, one in Urdu, one in English. I'm not good in English. I don't call myself, I do have hesitation in speaking in English as well, but I try my best. I thought I may see some people who don't understand Urdu or Hindi very well in my channel, but maybe soon I'm thinking to stop English sessions and do in Urdu only. But that is for future. For the time being, I will go with this thing by creating 2 sessions a week in Urdu and in English language. You are welcome, Inzamamul Haq. Is there any other questions? I think we should wind up now. There is no more question left. So I think we should meet tomorrow again at the same time with Urdu live session. And I will try to give the answers which I have got on my Google form, and I will answer them on tomorrow's live session. Right now there are only 2 questions which has been asked by 2 people, and there is no other question. And if you want to have the link for that Google form, you can follow my Facebook profile. The link is shared in the description of every of my videos. Mateen, for the time being, yes, I am doing, and when I see that I have more people who are interested in Urdu Hindi and there are less people who are interested in English, then tell me what can I do. Then I will start doing both sessions in Urdu Hindi language. Okay, guys, I think we should stop our live session here, and we have enough answer and question, and it is almost an hour. So thank you very much, guys, for being with me till end. I really enjoy your company, and I before closing the session, I will request, I will tell to I must tell to Kamlesh Kumar and Balaji that I will try to figure out what is your problem with your Node.js. But still, if you found any solution, do let me know in the tomorrow's session as well that you have found the solution. If till then you couldn't find, I will try my best to find a solution for you. So thank you guys once again for being with me till end. Take care and goodbye.